I want to introduce our panelists. First of all, we have in the middle would be Mayor Gregory Oravec. To the right of him would be Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro. To the left of the mayor would be Communications Director Sarah Prohaska. To our far right would be Utility Billing Connection Support Manager Gina Linsley. To our far left is Community Outreach Coordinator, Port St. Lucie Parks and Recreations, Robert Chenier. And we'll get started with our first question. Our first question is Sarah. She's actually asking Mayor Gregory Oravec a question.
Hi, my name is Sarah DePaula. I am 16 years old, and I am currently a junior at Somerset College Preparatory Academy. And the question I would like to ask the city council members is, how do you encourage employment and economic development in our area, which is Port St. Lucie?
Thank you, Sarah. So economic development, aka job creation, every city out there wants it. And so it's a very competitive world. How do we go about it? Well, I'd like you to check out www.cityofpsl.com/strategic plan. All right, and you're gonna find that we have a master plan for being a safe, beautiful, and prosperous city for all people. And that in that plan, we go about strategically working towards that end. How can we make that happen every day? How can we make that happen? Well, we actually have a plan for that, and it's at that website, again, cityofpsl.com/strategic plan. What you're gonna find, there are 7 overarching goals, and guess what? I know you're not there to say what, but I'm hearing it in my head. And one of those goals, of course, is economic development, and so we specifically spell a very explicit plan out, but let me give you some of the high points. One of the things that we have to do is just to create a desirable place for all people, right? Because businesses are run by people, and people want a high quality of life. They want good drinking water. They want to be able to go to their mailbox without getting robbed. Safety, right? These things. It's got to be nice. It should be beautiful. I guess that's why we probably put safe, beautiful, and prosperous right in our vision statement. So one of our things is we got to make a safe, beautiful, and prosperous city so that people want to be here. And so that's all of our services. We are the safest. And again, it's to my left. I mean, you might see it on your screen as to the right of me, but that's my left over there. This is my left hand. That is the assistant chief, and he and the team work so hard and do such good work that we have been the safest large city in Florida for 10 years straight, and we've been one of the safest for even longer than that. So knowing that you can be somewhere with your family and be safe is a big thing. That helps people come here. And then, we have a lot of things that people in Florida have. We have a great climate. We actually are very affordable compared to other places. We have a great and getting better everyday parks program. We have great things like Pioneer Park and an adventure park coming in online. So those help make it more desirable. And then the city council and I were really serious about lowering city taxes. And so we create a very attractive tax environment. That's another thing that we can do, right? So we can be safe, beautiful, we can be affordable, and then we can also have low taxes, and that makes us desirable. So those are some of the indirect things, just being the very best place that we can be. And then on top of that, we have an economic development program where we get into actively attracting businesses. And one of the ways that we do that here in Port St. Lucie is with our Southern Grove project. And there's a website for that. Just like you might have heard there's an app for that. Well, there's a website for that, cityofpsl.com/Southern Grove. And if you check that out, you'll learn more about the 4 running miles between Tradition Parkway and / Gatlin Boulevard and Becker Road. And those 4 running miles along I-95, they contain already some world-class companies like the Cleveland Clinic, all right? And they're now operating a research facility. And you have the Torrey Pines Institute, and they're partnering with Florida International University. So you have these research centers, and then you have large manufacturers like City Electric, and now Excel is coming, and Oculus Surgical is supposed to come. And we have a couple code name projects that we can't really tell you about. It's like that old joke in the movie we could tell you, but then we'd have to, so we don't want to go there, but there's some really cool code name projects coming. And in Southern Grove, the city owns a lot of the land. So we make it available to the market in desirable, what we call targeted industries. What are targeted industries? Well, they're good jobs that pay people relatively more money, and they're jobs of the future that you know that are going to grow. And so if a company is in the targeted industry and they're going to create jobs and invest a whole bunch of capital, aka money, into things that last a long time, like equipment and buildings, if they're going to do that, they're going to put a lot of people to work for a lot of money, and they're going to invest a lot of money, then we might offer them the property at a discount. Because more than selling the property for a profit, we care about the long-term return on investment, the benefit of the jobs and the capital investment, but especially the jobs. Because as you may know, as you may have learned, payroll, when you get paid, cycles through the community a number of times. And that's why you want your jobs local, so that the money cycles through your community. You don't want your money going to a different city, paying for their cool parks. You want to see that happen in your community, and it helps lift everyone up. And so we're doing that. It's very exciting. And on a smaller scale, we have that happening other places in what we call community redevelopment agencies, like in the US 1 corridor. So this is a big topic. I've probably already gone over my time, but please check out cityofpsl.com/strategic plan, and then also things like cityofpsl.com/Southern Grove. And always feel free to contact us at City Hall. We're happy to help all of our citizens, especially you guys over there at Somerset, all right? 871-5159. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next question is for Communications Director Sarah Prohaska.
Hi, I'm Giovanni Martinez. I'm from Somerset, and I'm here to ask, why isn't there any sidewalks? Thank you.
Dang, why isn't there any sidewalks, Sarah?
And I might have the mayor help me out with this one, but I guess this one came to me because this is a question we get a lot here at the City of Port St. Lucie. So I can give you the Cliff Notes version right now about our sidewalk situation. And it actually, I have to give you a little history lesson on the city so you understand where we are with sidewalks. So, Port St. Lucie didn't develop this way a lot of traditional cities on the east coast of Florida did. So take like a Fort Pierce, the city of Fort Pierce, if you've read the book Land Remembered, Fort Pierce was like a hub for the cattlemen and the citrus industry, and its downtown grew up around the railroad tracks. Port St. Lucie developed a little bit differently. It was incorporated, we're a young city. We were incorporated in 1961 by a developer called the General Development Corporation. And basically, this corporation sold quarter-acre lots to retirees up north and around the world, actually. And basically, it took our big city and it divided it up into quarter-acre lots, and it sold them off as a retirement community or a retirement haven. And when they did that, they didn't think a lot about things like water sewer systems and sidewalks or a downtown. So these are all issues that Port St. Lucie's leaders have had to deal with after the fact. So when General Development Corporation went out of business, after it was incorporated as a city, city leaders really had to tackle these issues sort of and retrofit the city. So sidewalks are a big deal for a lot of residents, and that's kind of the history as to why we're putting in sidewalks now in some of our older neighborhoods instead of them being put in when the neighborhoods were originally developed. But sidewalks are a big deal for our city council. I'm sure I'm going to have the mayor chime in a little bit on this one also, but it is a goal to have our neighbor to build sidewalks in the city. And luckily in 2018, our city voters approved what we call a half-cent sales tax. And a part of that half-cent sales tax is going to funding our 10-year sidewalk master plan. So the city has a master plan to provide sidewalks to these communities that don't have them. And you can go to www.cityofpsl.com/sidewalks, look up your street, and you can see where your street fits on that sidewalk master plan, and it tells you what year or what time that sidewalks could be coming to your neighborhood. And that sidewalk master plan, among other funding sources, is fully funded thanks to our half-cent sales tax. So sidewalks, really, if you're curious about sidewalks, where they're coming, where they're going, please go to that website and you will see that sidewalks are a priority for the city. I don't know, Mayor, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think you did a great job, Sarah. So maybe just some color. So Giovanni, I want you to imagine your favorite forest in Port St. Lucie. So where are your favorite woods? Have you walked in a park, or maybe there's a lot on your street and you really like it? It's just woods. I want you to imagine that in your mind, because that's what all of Port St. Lucie was. And in the 50s and 60s, General Development Corporation came in and they used bulldozers and fire and other things, and they wiped out all of those woods. Just like the ones you're imagining, that's what Port St. Lucie was. And they tore that all down, and they put in about 80,000 quarter-acre lots that Sarah was talking about. And they wanted to sell as many of those lots as possible, and they did sell many of those lots. And they wanted to make as much money as possible doing it. That's what a developer is in the business of doing, is making money. And so some are comfortable with making more money or less money. It's an equation. But at the end of the day, they all have to make money. That's what they're in the business to do. And so you want to sell for as much as possible, and you want to put in as little money as possible. That's how you create a profit. And so they didn't want to spend money on the infrastructure, including sidewalks and also drainage. But it impacts us in many ways. And then it's more expensive to retrofit something than it is to do it right the first time. And so now we're so big and we have so many people, and sidewalks impact drainage, so many other things. Sidewalks, even though it just seems like, hey, we could build a sidewalk, you and I go get some concrete from Home Depot and build it over the weekend. It's not that simple. It ends up being really expensive. And so you can't just build sidewalks everywhere in Port St. Lucie overnight. It would cost billions of dollars, with a B, billions. So that's how expensive it would be. And as it turns out, not all taxpayers would want to pay that. So you have to figure out where to put them. And that's why, again, we're thinking strategically. I know we're talking to at least one former strategic thinking class, and that's a great skill that will serve you well in life. So we had to figure out where to build them, and you build them on the busiest roads, the fastest speed roads, and the roads closest to schools. So those were some of our criteria. Those were the ways that we prioritized where in a city of now 120 square miles, where we could put the sidewalks first. And that's that sidewalk master plan. And so if you went there right now in your class, someone brought up, as Sarah said, cityofpsl.com/sidewalks in your class, you could see all the sidewalks we've built. We've built miles of sidewalks. Just this year, we've built miles of sidewalks. And then we would be able to see if one is coming close to Giovanni, which we hope, because we want him to be a happy citizen and a happy voter. So those are the things that I would add, Sarah. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you so much, Giovanni. Our next question is from Kaylee, and it's to Community Outreach Coordinator, Port St. Lucie Parks and Recreations, Robert Chenier.
My name is Kaylee Hernandez. I am 16 years old and I attend Somerset College Prep. I want to be involved in bettering our local society. Could there possibly be more programs created to promote team involvement in local society or government, since I truly care about initiating change for the better?
Oh, Kaylee, thank you so much for your question. It's a great question. Thank you for your interest, first and foremost. Together everybody achieves more is the old saying, the acronym for team, but it's true. We can only get so much done as a city, but when we include everyone like yourself, we can get so much more done together. And so it's great to hear from people like yourself who are really interested in getting on board and helping make a positive impact. And so a couple of things that you can do right now. On an annual basis, the city offers an annual event called the Citizen Summit. And what the Citizen Summit does is it's a one-day event where we invite all of our residents to come in and give us feedback. Let us know what your needs are, what you're looking for from the city, what you think your needs are for our individual departments and for the city as a whole. And so that's a great way for you to show up and get involved and give us your feedback on a personal one-on-one level. We also hold an annual forum on race relations as well, so it's another great way to make a positive impact in our community to make sure that we're keeping things at a top-performing level. In addition to that, being that you are in 11th grade, if you're 16 years or older, the city has a volunteer program. And that's a great opportunity for you to get involved right now in the city. Our city volunteers are wonderful. The Parks and Recreation Department specifically, we have a lot of volunteers both in our sports facilities, sport programs, our basketball leagues, and also at our golf course. They provide thousands of hours every year of service to their community to help us get everything that we need to get done. And so it's critical that we have those volunteers, and it's a great way for you to get involved right now. And looking forward, the city also offers internship opportunities that you could look into in the future as well as you're going through the rest of school and heading into college. And finally, we're also in the developmental phase of putting together a youth council, a city youth council, that would give you the ability to serve on a council alongside city leadership to really work on some strategic projects and make a great impact in your community. And so keep an eye out for those. We'll be announcing that as more information comes out on our website, cityofpsl.com. And of course, if you want any more information on volunteering or the Parks and Recreation Department or the city, just give us a call, email us, and we'll get you some information. Thanks so much for your question.
Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Robert. We really appreciate it. So I didn't mention is Somerset College actually submitted 15 videos. So in an effort to answer as many videos as possible, we're going to combine 2 questions together for our mayor. Mayor Gregory Oravec, you have 2 students, Jean and Janed, who have questions for you.
Hi, my name is Jana Marquito. I'm 16 years old in grade 11 and I attend Somerset College Preparatory Academy. And my question is, based on how the state of Florida and more specifically Port St. Lucie have been handling the coronavirus, how long do you think it will take for life to go back to somewhat normal? And what other efforts are you putting in to improve the situation?
Hello, my name is Jaden Sharp. I'm 16 years old in 11th grade and I attend Somerset College Preparatory Academy. And I would like to know what Port St. Lucie is doing to prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
All right, thank you. 2-for-1 special about a very serious topic. At this point, more than 200,000 Americans have died of COVID-19, and I believe over a few hundred here in St. Lucie County. So it is serious, and try to always remember the people we've lost. Because it's terrible to think, we're going on daily with our lives, but there has been a huge price that's been paid, and it continues. And across the country, we're seeing increased cases right now. So, despite what we would hope, despite what some people think, it hasn't magically gone away. And quite frankly, we should not expect it will magically go away. So, how does this end? How do we get back to normal? Well, a few things could happen, and probably on the more desirable end of the spectrum, a vaccine is developed. Sometime, depending on who you listen to, there's some that are trying to push for the election. That's not going to happen. The election's just, early voting started, and the election day is just a couple weeks away. But you hope in the first quarter, the first 3 months of 2021, that would be outstanding. And then that would allow ramp up of production and people to get acclimated to the idea of taking it. Because if you're following this, if you're reading it, you know that many Americans say that they will not be the first in line to take the vaccine. Well, the vaccine can't help us unless enough of us take it. So you got to get to that tipping point where enough people have taken a safe, effective vaccine for it to actually work and do its job, which is to give enough of us immune response, immunity, or at least the better ability to fight the disease. And so if that happens, then next year, towards the latter half of 2021, life kind of gets back to normal. In the absence of a vaccine, then we have to hope, and this is a terrible thing to hope for, but to get back to normal. And so I'm not even comfortable with the word hope, but if we would look at pandemics like the 17-18 flu, we would find that it had to run its course through the world twice. So you had 2 huge annual outbreaks that killed so many people, basically got everyone sick, so that the survivors had enough immunity and antibodies developed in their system that it didn't impact them to the same effect going forward. And that's kind of that idea of, you've heard it in your research, you had to maybe even do a paper on it, of herd immunity. The problem is with a coronavirus, could be, because, again, I'm not a doctor, but one of the problems is that it mutates. It could mutate so fast. For example, even though we have flu vaccine, et cetera, we still get the flu every year. It's because it mutates, and you don't know which strain you're going to have. So that could potentially happen. But you hope that it mutates towards a less severe strain so that so many people don't die and it becomes more of an inconvenience than a life-stopping event. And so that's where we are. And that's obviously not fun. This is terrible what's happened to our society over the course of we're coming up on almost a year now already. So what do we do in the interim? Jaden wants to know what the city is doing to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Well, Jaden, I want to be direct with you and tell you what you need to know, not what you want to hear. And that is, the city can't stop the spread of the coronavirus. We can only hope to influence it. So in this case, the city of Port St. Lucie doesn't have the power necessarily to mandate, to make it law, to tell you what you have to do. It's up to all of us as individuals and families and households to be responsible. In fact, the governor of the state of Florida has taken away the rights of cities to enforce mandates, like a mask mandate. And because in Florida, the public health function is tied to the county, counties have been the lead on the response to the pandemic. And that's been the case in St. Lucie County. It's a St. Lucie County mask mandate. Of course, that doesn't mean we sit on our hands, right? Leadership is not dependent on being able to tell people what to do. Leadership is being able to influence those around you, those you care about, to achieve more than they could achieve on their own. So how do we do that? Well, a big fundamental of leadership is communication. And you weren't here, but earlier we had a question about what Sarah Prohaska does and her award-winning staff. Well, they communicate through all channels. And what do I mean by channels? I don't just mean TV channel. I mean all media, social media. I don't know if they're on Snap yet, but they're definitely on Instagram and all these other things. So they are communicating, and they're going through TV news, they're going through print. We do our own direct publishing, we do radio. So we're everywhere trying to get the best information possible out there. Of course, a big thing about leadership is lead by example. And so you're going to see people like me at the city who are wearing their mask, who are socially distancing, who are avoiding the 3 C's, and trying to get others to engage in those behaviors, because that's what it boils down to. You can't make them, by law, we can't make them do the right thing, but we can hopefully shine a light on what that looks like. In addition, here at the city, we're trying to give supplies, so we give mask giveaways. We are promoting, of course, our friends and Good Citizens Treasure Coast Food Bank to help people with food and access food in a safe way. We're helping people who have been unemployed. We are trying to help people get reemployed. So we're trying to help deal with all of those symptoms, if you will, all those negative effects of this disease, and try to mitigate, right? Try to lessen the severity of all these things happening while we wait for the answer to Jean's question about how this ends. So we'll continue to do that. If you have any other ideas, please feel free to contact us at 871-5159 or hit me up at mayor@cityofpsl.com. But unfortunately, they don't give us a magic wand, and they don't give us the ability to make people do the right thing. In the same way that the assistant chief over here, he can't make people follow the speed limit or buckle up or never drink and drive. We can't make people wear their mask, not have a party for 200 people. And here in the state of Florida, we can't even give you a ticket. So at least the chief can give you a ticket if you break one of the laws. We cannot do that. We're relying on people's better angels. And we need everyone to do their best and not get complacent this winter. Please, we're doing a decent job right now of managing the disease here locally, but that means we have to keep going with the behaviors that got us to this point. It doesn't mean you can just say, oh, yippee, we made it, let's have a party. No, that's when you're going to see a spike and bad things happen. So we have to stay the course until we get to the other side of this thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Our next question is going to be for Assistant Chief Del Toro. It's from Rocco.
I'm Rocco Munoz from Somerset College Preparatory Academy, and I ask, why do the Port St. Lucie cops look so cranky? Thank you.
Thank you for that question, Rocco. If you ask the officers, they'd probably say it's because they work for me, but I'm a little tough on them sometimes, but we expect a lot of our police officers. You know, it's no secret, some of the stuff we talked about already, 2020 has been a very challenging year. And I think it's important to have challenges in life because I think you do find out a lot about yourself as a person and as a professional. And one of the most important decisions I make each and every day is the attitude that I choose to have. When I wake up every day, I choose to have a positive attitude because I think it'll help me overcome the challenges that I'm going to face in my day. And you probably notice this yourself a little bit, is we let other people affect our attitude by what they do or sometimes what they say to us. And I just tell you to really maintain that positive attitude. I try to remind our officers that because we have this privilege and honor to wear this uniform and this badge, it gives us special powers and things like that, that we're on stage each and every day. People are watching us, they're looking at us, and how are we reacting to different situations. And the average person like yourself really doesn't come into contact with law enforcement. And when you do, you're going to leave that encounter with an overall perception of our agency, because you're not going to interact with every single officer. You're going to interact with that one officer. And if it was a negative interaction, that's how you're going to think of the Port St. Lucie Police Department. So I try to remind our officers all the time to follow the golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. And I think, you know, there's a lot of things we go to that are very dangerous, that are very traumatic. You know, when you're hurt, we see it, whether it's in a car accident or a domestic violence situation. We feel your pain, and it does have an effect on our attitude sometimes. But I try to just remind our officers, follow that golden rule, leave people with the feeling that you were serving your own family member, because we do love and care about you, and we want you to have a good experience when you do deal with law enforcement. So thanks again, Rocco, for that situation, and I'll try to end it with a smile. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rocco. We have time for one more question. It's for the mayor. It's from Sophia. Sophia?
Hi, I'm Sophia from Somerset, and I wanted to ask you guys, how come we don't have more venues of entertainment and places to go shopping and other things like that for kids our age, because there's more stuff for older people.
So Sophia, this is where video or taped questions aren't as good as the real thing. So if we were here together, I would ask a follow-up question to better understand your point of view. And I would specifically ask you what you're looking for, if you could provide some very specific examples of venues and places that you see somewhere else that we don't have here, and then I could better formulate a response for you. But given where we're at, I'll just take a guess at it, probably 75 to 80% sure that this is going to be the answer to your question. And I don't know if you've had economics yet and you've learned about markets, demographics, supply and demand. So these are all important concepts. And what it boils down to is this, is that in a free market, or in a freer market like we have here in the United States, you have stores, venues, businesses, because even a venue is a business, right? They're in the business of providing a place for entertainment in exchange for making money, right? All of these things, they are driven by profit. They want to make money. And so they want to sell a good or a service to a group of people, and ideally, as many people as possible for as much money as possible. And so in a free market, you find that the businesses or people, they have the freedom to create a business, to meet a demand, to provide supply to demand. And here in Port St. Lucie, historically, we've been very residential, and we've skewed. We've been more towards older retirees than young people traditionally. And then our population, although growing, our total market areas in just the city, it's actually the city and all of St. Lucie County. And guess what? It's not even necessarily just St. Lucie County, it's Martin County. That's what we call the Port St. Lucie Metropolitan Statistical Area, and that's the larger market area for our community. And so the providers of goods and services are trying to serve that market efficiently, and there's more money to go after in the older demographic. All right, so that's what you're seeing. There aren't as many young people with money. And then if we got into specific brands, now we'd be able to get into the nitty-gritty of what you're looking for, and we could see how many people it takes to support that type of thing that you're looking for. So when you say entertainment venues, do you mean like you want your favorite artist to come here and do a show? And I want you to think about, if that's the case, I want you to think about where your favorite artist performs. Do they perform in Miami/Fort Lauderdale? Do they perform in Orlando? Maybe every once in a while they go to West Palm Beach. So those markets all have more than 1 million. Some of them have, because really, for some things, Miami and Fort Lauderdale function as one market, especially for large entertainment acts. They have over 2 million people. Your city of Port St. Lucie, even though we're fast growing, we have 201,000 and change. So that difference in magnitude is what drives the entertainment acts to go to certain metropolitan areas, right? If you ever saw a concert shirt and you looked at the back and you saw the places that the artists went, I bet all of those places have a lot of people, unless it was of a festival, which became a mini city in the middle of a desert somewhere, and that achieved the same thing, right? So that's what you're seeing happen for things like entertainment. And for stores, you also see that. So some stores need 1 million people. Some stores need 100,000 people making $100,000 a year. So you see those stores go to where those concentrations of population, their market, their customers are. And again, I bet if we were talking about specific brands and we looked at where those brands were located, we'd find that they are in more populated areas. So we could actually go through this exercise. It would only take us 5 to 10 minutes if you want to give us a call here at City Hall at 871-5159 or shoot me a follow-up email at mayor@cityofpsl.com. But I don't want to leave you there because I do have some good news for you. And that is that as we continue to grow, we're getting more and more brands. And as we get younger and more diverse, we're getting more diverse brands, stores, restaurants, entertainment uses. And so we see that with Flying Panda was successful, right? And then it became Defy. And now Urban Air has opened up on US 1. So you're starting to see these uses come into the market. And if they succeed, you're going to see additional uses come in the market. So they'll stay, they'll grow, they'll change. And what, Superplay really broke the ice for us, right? Remember, so you were really little when that broke the ice. And that was a group of investors here locally. They pieced the money together. Those were all locals, and it wasn't a big corporation when they came in. It was a bunch of locals that said, hey, I think this will work. I think that we could be more than just the bowling alley that we have here now. I think we could create an entertainment use. We could put a restaurant in it. And they had to put their money where their mouth is, so to speak, and they had to take a risk. That's what our free market's all about. And they made it work, and that broke the ice. And then you saw those other uses that I spoke about. And then, of course, just like with economic development and some of the other things that we've talked about today, maybe not in this session, but we've talked about the city tries to influence things also. So the city and Robert down there, they're doing all kinds of programming. We're doing things like the port. It's going to blow your mind if you haven't seen the master plan for the port yet. And depending on what you're into, you might even, if your mind is still whole, it's definitely going to be blown out when you see the adventure park that's going in on Crosstown. So there's some really sick stuff coming. The problem is it can never happen fast enough. You know, we all want it yesterday, so that's true. And then we're also doing concert series. We're also creating a youth council. And so it would be fun to hear the specific things that you're interested in to see if there's enough demand so that we could help bring those kinds of things to some of our venues, right? Because we had the Mid-Florida Credit Union Event Center, we have McCarty Ranch, we have a mobile stage we could put anywhere we want, basically. So make sure that you're part of the process and we can hear directly from you, because if we can help, we will help. But we can't overcome the market completely on our own, and we can't change the fact that the world is going from stores and malls to online shopping. You know, we're all making that happen every time we click on Amazon Prime Day. All right, I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I'd like to close this out by thanking Principal Erica Rains from Somerset College Preparatory Academy, Miss Butler's class, Mr. Kilroy's class, Mrs. Marsh's civics class. Thank you very much for doing everything you can to create some incredible, engaging questions and submitting them, and then we'd love to being a part of this. If we didn't answer all of the questions, please give a shout out to me, email me or call me. You work through your principal, and I'll get it to our panelists, and we will try to do our best to get back to you in a timely fashion. And we thank everybody for your time. And remember, we did the PSL Youth Town Hall for Government Week, in support of Government Week. And we just get to know your local leaders, check out our website, and give us a call. We're here for you. Thank you again. Thank you to all my panelists.